Monday from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Tonight, we bring you the Big 12 on ESPN. Our first Big Monday of the season. And there will be some big players in this game tonight. Oklahoma State takes on the Mountaineers of West Virginia. I get everyone, Bob Wischusen, alongside Fran Priscilla. Sort of. In a year with the Big 12, it is certainly stacked at the top. Baylor, Texas, and Kansas, 3 of the top 6 in the AP Top 25. West Virginia and Texas Tech make it 5 Big 12 teams in the top 18. And Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are both also receiving votes. So this is a very deep league, as is normally the case. And Fran, you and I together, kind of. It's good to be back with you here on Big Monday. This is going to be an exciting year in the Big 12. We've got some star players to look at, and maybe no one individual star player in this league has received more attention coming into the season than Cade Cunningham, and he's only a freshman.
And he's handled it great, Bob. He's 6'8", he's 220, he's the highest-ranked ESPN recruit that's gone to college. He's averaging 18 a game. He really does it all for this team. He could play all 5 spots in college. He's that gifted, and what you love about him, he's been a great teammate so far. Easy to coach, and it's going to be fun to watch tonight.
And Fran, the big story, at least in the past week or so for West Virginia, is the loss of Oscar Tshiebwe. He leaves the team because of personal reasons. They were to have 2 big bodies in the middle. They still have one. They lose Tshiebwe, but Bob Huggins can still lean on Derek Culver.
Well, Derek Culver's been outstanding. In fact, he's been the focal point of this great West Virginia run this year. 13 points, 10 rebounds a game, hard to guard. And they're going to change their style now. It's going to be a smaller team. But remember, you got a guy like Deuce McBride, the sophomore from Cincinnati, who's a burgeoning star in this league. We've seen that before.
We'll see how West Virginia handles a road test tonight against an Oklahoma State team with Cade Cunningham and Ice Likely as well, Fran. You see him on the right side of the picture, as you've called him a linebacker at point guard, and he can change the dynamic of a game in a lot of different ways.
Well, and that's 2 great athletes in the backcourt. It's a good start right there.
Bryce Williams with the reverse to get the poke on the board.
This is a small team. It's 5 guards essentially. But, of course, Bob, when you talk about Cunningham and Likely, 6'8" and 6'4", both 220.
McBride lost it. Sean McNeil found it, and now McBride rims out a 3. Offensive rebound, Derek Culver, and a stick back by Emmett Matthews. Boy, sometimes, you've talked about this in the past, the best offense for West Virginia could be a missed shot.
No question about it. And they are going to need to continue their offensive rebound because they're not a prolific scoring team.
Avery Anderson lost it, and now it will be a held ball. No, they're going to grant the timeout to Avery Anderson, so he avoids the turnover. And we'll step aside for 30 seconds and come right back. Underway on Big Monday. Sidelines for Oklahoma State, Fran, in his 4th season, as Likely will go to the free throw line. They stick with him. It certainly has paid off. This is a program that, at least in the offseason, was thought to potentially be facing a postseason ban, and yet just about his entire team, including Cade Cunningham as the #1 recruit in America, stayed true to Oklahoma State and Mike Boynton.
Exactly. And as of right now, they are appealing the NCAA violations of a former staff member who's no longer on the staff and was only with Mike for 9 months. There's a good chance this team will still be in the NCAA tournament. In fact, I think Joe Lunardi now has them, in his bracketology. But Mike Boynton is a young, rising star. Been watching him since his days at Bishop Loughlin in New York City, and he's got a great, mature attitude. Kids love him. Little pressure right now, trying to speed this game up.
Emmett Matthews makes them pay for the pressure, getting to the front of the rim, but can't finish on the layup attempt.
Got to finish those. Got to finish.
Cade Cunningham leans in. That's his first bucket.
Oh, yeah, Bob, and that's exactly the kind of player he is. He is a man-child. Just basket.
Gotta love the pace so far as the triple goes down from the wing to give Oklahoma State now a 1-point lead. Jalen Bridges had a huge game against Oklahoma on Saturday and off to a good start now. Caleb Boone in the posts. The jump hook rolls home.
Yep, don't hesitate. And I like the idea that they're going to go at Culver early. They know he's foul prone. And, of course, we've already discussed that Mountaineers already shorthanded, Bob. Not only Shibwe gone, but the freshman Cottrell out for the year with an Achilles injury. Good post.
McNeil, nice entry pass. And the layup goes for Culver.
That's an advantage of playing 4 guards, because that's a great spot for Sean McNeil to feed the post. And Culver made his defender disappear.
Likely, yes.
How about that? Back-to-back baskets by the linebacker in the defensive end.
McBride in the mid-range. And Emmett Matthews saves it, but a foul was called. As we take a look at the work for Derek Culver on the offensive glass, he is strong in the middle.
Great position. Look how he makes Boone just disappear behind him. And a great feed by McNeil away from Boone. And he leads Culver to the basket. Really well done.
McBride plays it off of the back of Cunningham, but couldn't convert. Likely will go to the free throw line for the second time at the other end.
Bob, this is the Ice Likely that we saw a lot of last year when he was healthy, already imposing his will in the open court. Mike Boynton told us, and we've had a chance to see him a couple times this year, he was averaging like 6 shots a game. He was too unselfish, and it hurt the team. On Saturday, 14 shots, 17 points, and more importantly, taking a little heat off of Cade Cunningham, taking that boulder off of Cunningham's back, if you will, because these two guys together can be really outstanding.
2 players, Fran, that both are from Arlington, the same area in Texas, but you said didn't really get to know each other until they played internationally on the USA Under-19 team in the FIBA World Cup.
Gold medal champions, exactly. Tyrese Halliburton was on that team, now in the NBA. Some really outstanding players, Jalen Suggs as well. Yeah, and it made the decision to come to Oklahoma State a little bit easier for Cade Cunningham.
Culver tried the high-low pass, but Matthews lost it out of bounds. And this is a pretty talented team right here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got Kyra Lewis on there now in the NBA. Ty Halliburton up in that left-hand corner. Reggie Perry on the right. He's in the NBA. And, of course, some precocious freshmen, Jalen Suggs, Scotty Barnes, all will be high picks. That team was coached by our friend Bruce Weber. Kansas State, gold medal.
Avery Anderson's entry pass knocked out of bounds by Culver. So it will stay with the Pokes with 7 on the timer. That last foul, by the way, was called on Culver, so that's his first.
And if I'm Mike Boynton, I try to attack Culver either with Boone or those guards getting downhill right there.
And a foul is called. This foul, though, will go against Jalen Bridges. So Avery Anderson will shoot a couple.
Avery Anderson, another Dallas kid who last year, Bob, it's hard to believe, 2 for 26 behind the arc. And struggled, obviously, but much more consistent and efficient this year. He's an explosive young athlete, and Mike Boynton is raving about the way he's growing up on the job, if you will.
Well, he ended up growing up, for the most part, in Texas, but his family was originally from the 9th Ward in New Orleans. And when he was 5 years old, got chased out of town because Katrina destroyed their neighborhood, and ended up spending a year with family in Alabama before settling in Texas, and then became one of the best high school basketball players in the state of Texas. Now, here he is playing for Mike Boynton at Oklahoma State.
And he's got a good challenge tonight because he's guarding Deuce McBride.
Culver through a double team. Just a little too strong, and Anderson's got the rebound.
Too much traffic. He can post up.
Likely does just that.
Yep, this is the Ice Likely that Mike Boynton said, this is what we need. We need you to impose your will. Hey, he is a monster. Take a look at him.
Bob Huggins wants to talk a little bit more about how to handle Ice Likely. ESPN. Bob Huggins now number 6 all-time in Division I wins. A career that began back in the MAC in the 80s at Akron. 3 trips to the Elite 8 and a Final Four at Cincinnati. 1 year at Kansas State, but then the opportunity to go to his alma mater back in 2007. Too good to pass up. He's been in Morgantown ever since. And Fran Fraschilla, it's amazing now to say this. It's the 4th year that Hugs is on the ballot for the Naismith Hall of Fame. Is this finally the year where the phone rings and it's the right answer?
Well, he's the Susan Lucci of college basketball coaches, Bob. Come on. Eventually it's going to happen. Yes. Now, listen, he's a Hall of Famer. He's getting in. There's no question about it, whether it's this year or next. It's coming. There's 5 coaches in the history of the game that have more wins. All 5 of them are in the Hall of Fame. The resume speaks for itself. It's just a matter of time. Yes, it could be this year. Or next year, but he's certainly among college coaches the most likely to be selected to the Hall. I don't think there's any question about it. Last year it was Eddie Sutton's turn. Coach Sutton deserved to get in. He did, and I think Bob Huggins is coming soon. And then we'll start talking about Mark Few and Jay Wright.
Also, no doubt about it, Hall of Famers at some point. Culver, offensive rebound. The putback rolls off, but he will go to the free throw line.
Derek Culver, you got to give this young man credit, Bob. He missed the first half of his freshman year. He was in witness protection, getting his act together in Morgantown. Bob Huggins wouldn't even let him near the team that first semester until he got some things worked out. And then you and I remember a game in February in Lubbock where he shot 24 free throws in a game against Chris Beard's Final Four team. That's how dynamic and physical this young man is and how he plays in the low post.
Imagine if he ups the free throw percentage. 52% last season. As, by the way, that last foul was called on Caleb Boone. He picked up 2 in that trip alone. So Caleb Boone will sit down in some early foul trouble as Cade Cunningham goes to work. Sets up Anderson from the corner. That's an air ball and Likely knocks it out.
That's a great pass by Cunningham, Bob. And the one thing, I've talked to some of my NBA friends, and Cade Cunningham is listen, he's playing with good college players. When he plays with great NBA players, his skill level is going to be magnified because he's so unselfish.
Another offensive rebound for Culver, and the reverse.
That's a problem for Mike Boynton's team. Remember, no M.A. Moncrief tonight, the freshman from Canada. He's out. Boone in foul trouble.
Crossover by Bryce Williams, out of control, and numbers the other way for West Virginia. Matthews comes up short. Back the other way comes Bryce Williams again. This time a little Euro step. Again, can't finish. And it looks like Avery Anderson was on the end line.
Well, you said it, Bob. You design your offense with the missed shot in mind. And when you're in West Virginia, there's a lot of missed shots. But Culver knows where to create those angles and come up with that shot scoring. Jeff Van Gundy once told us 70% of shots taken from one side, missed to the other. That was a perfect example of Culver wedging his man underneath the basket, coming up with some change.
And no one more responsible, at least in the recent past, for those offensive rebounding numbers for West Virginia than Culver is. Back tap ends up near midcourt. McBride was after it, and it looks like it will stay with West Virginia.
I would slightly disagree and say Oscar Tshiebwe had something to do with those offensive rebounds as well.
He certainly did.
But Culver can certainly, shoulder the load. What this means this season for West Virginia, Bob, is they're going to play small. And it's an adjustment on the fly because 93% of their possessions prior to Saturday were with a big lineup. And that changed at Oklahoma.
Matthews lost it. Here comes Cade Cunningham.
Watch his vision.
He'll go to the line. So the #1 recruit in America will shoot a couple, and tomorrow night we'll have an ACC Big 12 college basketball doubleheader for you on ESPN and the app. It's North Carolina squaring off against the Canes at 8 Eastern, and then we'll see #6 Kansas in Fort Worth to take on 8-2 TCU. So ACC Big 12 tomorrow night. The doubleheader on a Tuesday night.
You want to talk about a freshman, and I hope we get to see him this year. Mike Miles, who, by the way, has known Cade Cunningham since 3rd grade. Mike Miles reminds me, Bob, of Frank Mason, the young man who plays for Jamie Dixon. 15 points a game as a freshman. They were teammates in summer basketball, and really a good young player. We are going to enjoy watching Mike Miles play in the Big 12. Little dribble handoff weave now, 5 out.
The skip pass ends up with one off the heel from Sherman.
Nice pass.
Offensive rebound, and Emmett Matthews is able to finish. Again, a second chance basket for West Virginia.
Yeah, good, very fortuitous bounce, and Deuce McBride knows what to do with it.
Cunningham hits a 3.
He's got the whole package, Bob. Can hurt you inside with the passing, the defense. And that's an area that people questioned a little bit coming into college, but propensity to knock shots down.
Speaking of knocking one down, Taz Sherman does just that from NBA range.
Boy, he's heating up. 19 in the second half a couple nights ago in Norman.
Keelan Boone feeds the post. Sherman gambled over the top, and it becomes an easy one for Likely.
So the big guy fed the point guard posting up. I like that.
A steal by Cunningham. Skipped to the corner. Another 3 goes down. This one buried by Rondell Walker.
Good energy. Little zone defense right here.
Taz Sherman can't bust the zone. Cunningham with the rebound. Here comes Ice Likely. Lost the dribble. Found it again with the left hand. And he will go back to the free throw line.
Ice Likely, he's starting to heat up. Take a look. Got good post feed inside. And then Rondell Walker, watch this pass, cross court. The freshman from Oklahoma City, knocking it down.
Now, Fran, the dynamic of Cade Cunningham playing with Ice Likely, that's probably going to be the determining factor in what kind of a season Oklahoma State has. How would you coach that? I mean, do you have any experience with, that kind of a dynamic, the big-time freshman coming in with maybe a veteran that can help him?
Very much so. Back in 97, 98 at St. John's, Meta World Peace, Ron Artest, freshman on a team with Zendon Hamilton and Felipe Lopez. And with these two guys, they're so team-oriented, Bob. They actually hurt the team sometimes with their unselfishness. And what I used to tell guys that were too unselfish, I would say, hey, listen, like Ice Likely, you can't take 6 shots a game. In order for us to win, you must impose your offensive will on the game, and that's what he's done since the Christmas break. There is no doubt about the fact that these two guys not only can coexist, they like each other, they love each other, they like playing with each other. They both have to be aggressive offensively. They're the 2 best players on this team.
And it looks like Mike Boynton is going to try to buy Likely a little bit of rest as we are next whistle at the under 12 timeout. Culver fed the baseline, ends up with the loose change.
Even that situation there, if I'm Cade Cunningham, I got to look to shoot that ball. Without Likely right now, he's got to dominate.
Cunningham out of the double team, and it looks like the foul will be called on Jalen Bridges. Take a closer look at the #1 recruit in America, Cade Cunningham, when we come back.
Cade Cunningham will be shaking hands with Adam Silver very early, hopefully in next year's NBA draft. Why? At 6'8", passing vision, sees the floor, an unselfish competitor. Watch how he ragdolls Greg Brown III, a former teammate of his, just takes him to the basket. Defensive IQ, understands how to play on and off the ball. Terrific anticipation with the finish. How about this? A game winner at Wichita. He's made big plays before, and then 6'8", 220 to the rim. Hard to stop with the offhand. Cade Cunningham, he is, Bob, a special talent, no question about it.
If there's any area of his game he needs to work on the most, especially when you project him towards the NBA, what do you think it is?
Well, it's not something he can really do much about. He's not an elite NBA athlete. He's certainly above average, and he's certainly good enough of an athlete to be an outstanding NBA player, no question. But what I love about him is he's going to be a great teammate because he plays the game the right way, really unselfish. You know what he reminds me of? He's an offensive version of Marcus Smart, in that you're going to love being with him on the offensive end. He will make you look good. The way Marcus handles that defense for Brad Stevens.
Well, certainly has the dimensions of an NBA player, no question about that. And there he is, playing the part of being unselfish. Keelan Boone can't knock down the three, but Cunningham has the offensive rebound. Sends it right back outside, looking for an assist. And Farron Flavors couldn't hit a triple either.
Ice Cream Man is in the game. 31 Flavors.
Culver back in, and he hits the jump hook.
Stay alert, Bob. We're getting back in the groove. It's been a few months, but we're ready to go, baby.
If there's one thing I should be, like my antenna should be up for, it's if you start making Fudgy the Whale references. That's my ballpark. An and one opportunity for Caleb Boone, or rather Keelan Boone.
Keelan Boone. Take a look at this little roll to the hoop, pick and roll down the lane. Deuce McBride a little late and a nice finish by the other twin. Keelan more of an outside player. Caleb does it inside. Hey, Bob, when we saw these guys, I think it was 3 years ago, we were doing a game, and they were playing in high school basketball. They were both about 170 pounds. And so you can see the way they're filling out nicely. And Mike Moyton had a lot of good things, I thought, today, talking about these guys, how just run your race. Don't worry about being a star right away. Just become a good Big 12 player, both of you.
McBride, by the way, forced to sit down. That foul was on him at the other end, and that's his second. Rebound drops.
Good hustle.
What a takeaway for Oklahoma State. Wide open in the corner, and unable to make the Mountaineers pay was Rondell Walker. And Culver's got the rebound. Here's Jordan McCabe.
Let's see if Cowboys stay in that zone. They played a lot of zone on Saturday against Texas Tech. Flummoxed the Red Raiders for a while with the zone.
McNeil threw it away. The steal by Walker. Lost it on the way up. Loose ball. Corralled by Sean McNeil.
Bad break. Slipped out of his hands.
Taz Sherman has it blocked from behind. Bryce Williams with a hustle play on defense.
Bryce Williams a year ago was playing against the Cowboys in Brooklyn for Ole Miss. And the junior college transfer decided to spend his senior year in Stillwater. And he's got a chance to be a very good role player.
McNeil to Matthews. That was deflected. It looks like Likely got a piece. And so back the other way come the Pokes. Avery Anderson. Well, turnabout is fair play. Emmett Matthews throws it out of bounds.
Good hustle. You got to love this. Watching Matthews come into the picture. And you like this. You like a guy that's going to get back 94 feet, run, and make a good defensive play. See, Ice has got to power this ball. He's got to post up. Take the ball to the basket.
As Culver caught on a switch, gives it up and gets it back. Goes around Culver. And throws it back up top, and Anderson lost it out of bounds. So a sloppy possession for the Pokes.
He's got to realize Culver's got one. He doesn't want to get a second. And what you got to do is you got to take the ball to Culver and make him guard you. And believe me, not a lot of guys on that court tonight can do that with Derek Culver, but likely Cunningham can. Staying in that zone.
Culver's floater, too strong. Here comes Cade Cunningham the other way. Gives it up to the wing. And I guess Bryce Williams was on the sideline. So a turnover for Oklahoma State. And Thursday shapes up to be the game of the night in women's basketball. Gino Auriemma and number 3 UConn in Waco to take on Kim Mulkey's 6th-ranked Lady Bears. 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on ESPN and the ESPN app. Almost unusual to see a 3 and a 6 next to UConn and Baylor. Usually that's number 1 against number 2.
Yeah.
Or certainly can be.
I'm going to be in Waco on Wednesday night to watch the Baylor Bears play the Sooners. Not working, just doing a little homework.
Just because you're you.
I just want to see games. It's called
That's
empty
right.
nesting.
We all do.
Empty nesting. Empty nesting. You're a long way from that, Bob.
Keetria Johnson looks like he will draw the foul as Bernard Kuma is tagged with a personal. Stepping aside.
About Indiana, the Alumni Association will be calling you tomorrow.
I'm doing it for Dockage. I'm doing it for Dockage.
Well, it's always good as early as possible to start talking about the bubble, right? And we have
No,
in
it's not.
Oklahoma State and
No,
Maryland a couple of teams that desperately need this win tonight, according to Joe Lenardi, Frank.
You know, for a fan, it's great, not for a coach.
It is.
This is you know, you talk about mental health. But this guy right here, if they get a couple more wins, they've got that big win at Texas Tech, a win tonight over 14 WVU, and we might see these guys move up in Joey Lenardi's bracket, maybe be ranked.
And how about the announcement by the NCAA that the entire NCAA tournament is going to be played in the Indianapolis area?
Makes sense, Bob. You know, fingers are crossed. We all know how lucky we are to be calling games and these guys playing. Indiana is, you know, listen, it's for basketball, it's Field of Dreams, okay? And incredible history there with Hoosiers and Hinkle Fieldhouse. Can you imagine an NCAA tournament game in Hinkle Fieldhouse? How cool that's going to be. And we just hope that, you know, the plans are good. And, you know, the one thing I've talked to a lot of coaches, and you have too, by the way, the last month, and every coach I've talked to has said to me, listen, we know what's at stake and we know how serious the virus is, but our kids just want to play and compete. And, you know, that's the really cool thing, that we're able to play college basketball so far this year.
It was the reason we got through a college football season, because the players desperately wanted to play.
Isn't it ironic that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields pretty much saved the college football season?
Chuba Hubbard, speaking of Oklahoma State, was one of the influential players to get on board with that "we want to play" movement. And you're absolutely right. Those kids in the 3 conferences that really stepped up out of the Power 5, at least, and said, we want to forge ahead with the season. That was why we had a college football season. And here we are playing college basketball. And again, it is West Virginia crashing the offensive glass. And this time it's Jalen Bridges.
Bob, the zone keeps you on the perimeter, but what it does is it sometimes hurts your defensive rebounding, because you have to go find a body. You're not committed to your own man in the zone when you're rebounding as you would be in man-to-man. So it's been a factor for West Virginia getting to the offensive glass and creating some opportunities to score. You know, I said this earlier, Bob, and I learned this from a great coach, Sonny Smith, who coached Barkley. And Sonny taught young coaches like me years ago, design your offense with the missed shot in mind. And what did he mean by that? If you're going to make 45% of your shots during the course of a game, 55 are going to come off the rim. How do you manufacture easier opportunities on the misses? West Virginia does that and has done that as well as anybody in America.
They've got 13 offensive rebounds already, and we've got 27 minutes left to play. And now a turnover as Anderson, after committing the foul at one end, throws it past the ear of Cade Cunningham at the other.
Listen, I like the zone. It's kept Culver away from the basket, at least initially. But what it's got to where it's got to really manufacture. Look at this steal.
McCabe turns it over, and the follow is there for Bryce Williams.
Jordan McCabe has not had a good junior year as far as running the team. Good find
that's
right there. Yep.
A good lead for Taz Sherman.
It's important that McCabe plays well. He's the one pure point guard on that roster.
Oklahoma State's largest lead was 12, and West Virginia's got it cut in half with 6.5 to go in the first half.
See, Bob, this is where I want Cunningham and Likely involved in terms of scoring.
And now Cunningham takes over with 7 to shoot. 5 on the shot clock. He's double teamed. He's in trouble. Throws it into a dead spot on the court. It's going to be a shot clock violation.
And again, that's why I say sometimes unselfishness actually hurts your team. And that time, by the time he committed to make a play, there was under 10 on the shot clock, and there just wasn't enough time. And I think the same is true with Likely, honestly. Got to shoot that, Bridges.
Instead, he leaves it in no man's land. And it's knocked out of bounds as McCabe couldn't handle it, but it will stay with West Virginia.
See, Bob Huggins is telling him right now, hey, have you noticed we get every offensive rebound? So if you're open at the foul line, shoot it, and we have a guy that will go get it. And this young man is going to be an outstanding player. Redshirt freshman. Bob, you know the Stills brothers, right? Have you had West Virginia the last couple of years in football?
Sure.
The two Stills brothers were high school teammates on the basketball side of Jalen Bridges.
Culver, the first player in double figures for West Virginia. He's got 10 points and 8 rebounds already here in the first half. Cunningham at the elbow, knocks it down.
That's what I want. That's what I'd want to see if I were Mike Boynton. He made the initial pass. He got the defense in rotation, scrambled around, came back to him, and you got to let that fly.
Culver went right at Caleb Boone and draws another foul, so he'll go to the line.
Watch Cunningham, a great pass. Watch the defense now in rotation. We call that scrambling the defense. Get them moving, and then it comes right back to Cade Cunningham, and that's what I think Mike Boynton wants to see more of. And again, Bob, it's not a criticism. He's a brilliant young player. And when he gets to the NBA, the beauty of him is he's going to be surrounded by great players who he's going to enhance. But right now, there's times in games where I would almost demand that he shoot the ball. And I would tell him, look, I'm taking you out if you don't get the next couple shots up. I'm going to take you out because we need you to score.
What player doesn't want to hear that? Their coach begging them to shoot.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Give me the green light, and you would be giving it to Cade Cunningham all night long. That foul, by the way, on Caleb Boone, his third. So he sits down 2 points and 3 fouls here in the first half, while Culver is already only 2 rebounds away from a double-double.
But as you said earlier, he's got to make those free throws. Otherwise, they become empty possessions.
He's got 11, but he is 1 of 4 at the line. So he's responsible for 3 of the 4 misses at the line for West Virginia. Again, sealing down low, the point guard. Nice Likely. He plays bigger than he is, and he extends to a 7-point Oklahoma State lead.
I love it. I love the idea that he's getting himself more involved in the offense. There's that zone. It's really caused the Mountaineers a lot of issues.
Culver spins on Likely, looking for his own miss. Bridges in there as well. And it is going to be a held ball, it looks like, so the arrow will keep it with West Virginia.
Well, you're talking 6'4", 220, a point guard, or as I describe him, a linebacker playing point guard. And there he is, great to high-low. Good recognition right there by, is that Walker, and a good feed inside. This is a guy that had 26 and 8 assists in a blowout win against Syracuse in Brooklyn last November. Bob, they were 7-0 and ranked. We told the story last year. He got mono. He was never the same until the end of the season. And quite frankly, since he's gotten healthy again, going back to last year, they've won 14 of their last 18 games. And then you add Cunningham, and you got a nice duo.
He was out for those 4 games. They went 1-3 in the 4 games that he missed, as weaving inside is Kedrian Johnson. But as we all know, Fran, as Likely scores again, you're out for a month with mono. It's going to take you a while to get your legs back under you. So even after he came back, Oklahoma State wasn't really Oklahoma State last year until March.
No, and because he wasn't Isaac Likely until March.
Right.
And that's a great point. No doubt about it.
So they ended up 18-14 last year, but they looked like a really dangerous team and maybe would have been one if the Big 12 championship had been allowed to proceed back in March. But of course, we all know what happened, as Likely has a chance for a 3-point play. Likely shoots the bonus. When we come back, he'll be looking to put Oklahoma State up by double figures again. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Heineken.
Did you just do a single shot?
I've heard to Kyle Anderson. Now, listen, Isaac Likely, Bob, reminds me a little bit of Patrick Beverly, who you can say is a lot of people don't know Lugan's story. He plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I'm still trying to find a comp for Cade Cunningham. And, you know, sometimes it's Brandon Roy, sometimes it's Grant Hill. He's just a special player, and I'm not sure we can put somebody else on him as to who he is.
The NBA needs more Patrick Beverleys, don't they? As the shot clock's winding down, Emmett Matthews gets caught. It's out of bounds, and with 3 to shoot, it'll stay with the Mountaineers. Like, the NBA right now needs more guys that you love to hate. Patrick Beverly is that guy. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, you hate him. And it seemed like there was always a guy like that in every NBA game when we were growing up.
Well, hey, there was a guy that played in this building about 7 or 8 years ago by the name of Marcus Smart.
He's one.
How's that working out for the Boston Celtics? I'd say pretty well. Good. Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing about Likely, and we made this point earlier. In the first 8 games of the season, he averaged 5 shots a game. And Saturday, he took 14 at Lubbock, and he had 17 points. Tonight, he's 6 for 6. And that's what they need from him. It takes a lot of pressure off of Cade Cunningham.
He gives it up to Cunningham here. And that's a triple that just rims out. Another
Good
rebound.
shot.
The 9th here in the first half for Culver.
Keep shooting that ball.
Matthews, too strong. Offensive rebound. Taz Sherman will go to the line.
Well, let's go back and take a look at these two guys we've been highlighting for the Cowboys. Cade Cunningham, open court specialist. Really, he's a specialist about everything. But driving to the rim, using that big frame at 6'8". Good ball movement right here. Mid-range pull-up, that's money. And then take a look, another transition opportunity. You love this. And feeds Likely. They play well off each other. They know each other. They like each other. And Ice Likely getting it done at the rim tonight.
Taz Sherman with another miss at the line for West Virginia. They're now 5 for 10 as a team at the line. At the front of the rim, helping out Likely and Cunningham. Rondell Walker scores again.
He's another very precocious freshman. Loves to play defense. We ranked him in the top 60 last year, did our ESPN guys. Good job by Cunningham right here.
Fought his way through the screen. And an offensive foul is called on Kedrian Johnson. Likely takes the charge.
How about the teamwork? How about the ball pressure first, and then I'll tell you, you love when a guy fights. Watch him get through this screen. You love that. Keep coming, get in front, and then, hey, I need help, okay? Ice Likely. Talk about being a pair on the offensive end. How about the defensive end right there? You know, one of the things, Bob, that kids don't do a good enough job of at the college level is fight through screens. Get through a screen. Don't be Velcro. That was excellent.
Too strong from Walker. Another rebound, and there's your first half double-double for Derek Culver. He's got 11 points and now 10 rebounds in the first half.
And 6 double-double of the season so far. Let's see if they double him.
Likely pulls up. That's his first miss. Somehow finds the loose ball, but is his pocket picked by Taz Sherman. Sherman tried to cross, but Walker getting back on defense, knocked it away.
Hey, Bob, Cade Cunningham just threw a cross-court one-hand pass to Isaac Likely, who missed a shot. But next year, that's going to be heading towards Klay Thompson or Kyle Korver or Tyler Hero. They probably won't be around to draft a guy like that. It'll be a bad team. But the point is, it's going to be a guy that can make that shot consistently. And that's why I say, don't worry about Cade Cunningham. He's going to be great around great players.
Here's a good look from the corner for Sean McNeil. Only the fourth made three for West Virginia in 14 attempts here in the first half, yet they're only down by 7.
Listen, they were down 18 in Norman at the half and came back and tied it with 10 minutes to go. So we've been talking about the
Walker is fouled.
Yeah, Bob, we've been talking about the Cade Cunningham show, but the Mountaineers are within 7. And they were down 18 at the half, and when you looked up with the 10 minutes to go in that game, they had come all the way back and tied it.
West Virginia has 16 first half offensive rebounds, and yet they're down by 7. Well, I guess how do you get 16 offensive rebounds? You shoot 33% from the field.
Yeah, you miss a lot. That helps.
Couple of misses. There's an offensive rebound, though, as Keelan Boone keeps it alive for the Pokes.
You want to go 2 for 1 here, Mike Boynton? If you do, the shot's got to be up by about 39. Probably not going to do it.
Shot clock down to 5. Cunningham gives it up. An NBA 3 off the side rim for Bryce Williams. Falling down, though, is Matthews, so it's thrown away, and Cunningham gets an easy steal. And now a chance for Oklahoma State to hold for 1.
Bad break for West Virginia. They needed that last possession of the half. Both teams in a bonus, so if I'm Ice Likely, I'm attacking. I'm getting downhill.
Gives it up. There's a 3 for Williams. It's good. Back to a double-digit lead at halftime for Oklahoma State. Ice Likely with 16 points on 6 of 7 shooting in the first half. Add in 9 more for Cade Cunningham, and it's a 10-point Oklahoma State lead. Time now for the E-Trade halftime report. Jordan Cornette, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg as well. Jordan?
Thanks, guys.
And welcome back to the Big 12 on ESPN. Set for the start of the second half. Our first big Monday of the season. Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla together, kind of. As we said, this seems like 2020 just won't end, but at least it's Big Monday, Fran. At least we've got college basketball to talk about. And we began the night with Oklahoma State talking about their Big 2. Ice Likely, Cade Cunningham. Well, they played like the stars we know they can be.
Yeah, they really did, especially Ice Likely. Here's a guy until Saturday was only taking 5 shots a game, and that ended Saturday with 17 points, and it's certainly tonight picking up where he left off. Great symbiotic relationship between the 2 outstanding Dallas high school stars, former teammates at USA Basketball gold medal winners, and they've been brilliant tonight. Watch this defense. This is just, you can't do it any better than this. The harassment out top, the charge on the drive, well done. They've got the lead, but I will remind you, the Mountaineers were down 18 at Oklahoma, came back and tied it, and they are going to need more from Deuce McBride, who was saddled with 2 fouls and 1 basket in that first half.
Well, only shot 33% in the first half. Now that gives you a lot of offensive rebound opportunities, and you can see West Virginia normally takes advantage of that, but still down by 10 as we begin the second half. Cunningham and Likely up top again.
Yep, zone defense, matchup zone.
Anderson can't connect. Another rebound for Culver. That is his 11th rebound to go with 11 points. McBride pulls up. That's off the heel.
That's okay. He's got to get aggressive. He fouled himself out of that first half with the 2 fouls. So he can afford to be aggressive offensively.
Cunningham for 3. Connects.
I like it, Bob. I like it. And he has proven, at least in the short span of his college career, that he can make that shot. But good ball movement by the Cowboys. Now the key for the Mountaineers is how do you get the ball to Culver?
McBride with the left hand.
Yep, I like it. He's got to be assertive. When he's assertive, it'll open up the three-point shooting and that inside game.
And now he's got the rebound. He was only 1 for 6 in the first half, McBride, so getting him off to a good start in the second half will certainly help. And it looks like a hand check foul was called on Avery Anderson. That's his second.
Deuce McBride, the former high school quarterback at Moeller High School in Cincinnati. Midway through his junior high school season, Bobby threw for 17 touchdowns before a foot injury ended that football career. And, of course, basketball now is his sport.
He was getting football offers, I think, Fran, wasn't he, before the ankle injury, and then he ends up coming to West Virginia to play basketball.
Yeah, you know, a lot of MAC schools, the Akrons, the Cincinnati, UC recruited him a little bit. Absolutely. Moeller High School, a great high school, sports high school. Remember, this kid played with Jackson Hayes, who's now in the NBA, former Texas star. You know, the interesting thing about Ice McBride, this is the kind of respect he had at Moeller High School. After the football injury, he missed the first 28 games of his junior year on the basketball court. The team was undefeated. They got to Columbus for the state semifinal. His first game of his junior year was in the state semifinal. And then they had enough confidence in him to play him in both the semis and the finals, 18 in the final. And here's the kicker, 88-4. As a high school basketball player at Moeller, playing for Carl Kramer, great program.
Is that good?
88-4. Well, you wouldn't know because you cover the Jets and I'm a Jets fan. So
you know what that was? I just lobbed it up there as an alley-oop and you just hung from the rim.
Oh, man.
I could not have put that more on a platter for you.
I feel your pain, man. I can't wait for the NFL draft.
Cunningham with a great cross-court look to Bryce Williams. There's that vision, Fran, you're talking about, and the unselfishness from the freshman.
Yep, and listen, 82 nights a year, that's going to be a bucket for somebody. Little zone now. They're matching up out of it. They're just trying to throw West Virginia off rhythm.
Nice shot fake by McNeil, but he couldn't hit the wide-open three. And he was a sniper in junior college.
Almost
Emmett
had
Matthews, really nice in defensive transition, but gave it right back to Ice Likely. The lob, mistimed, but still able to clean it up as Caleb Boone.
This is a very young basketball team we're watching, Bob. And, you know, you talk about Likely and Cunningham, but there's some good young pieces on this roster. You mentioned earlier, this team has won 14 of its last 18 games going back to last season.
14 is their largest lead in this game. Cross-court pass for Culver. And that three, another miss from the corner as Taz Sherman couldn't connect, but a foul called. So it will stay with West Virginia.
Yeah, this is the beauty of Cade Cunningham. Now watch this pass right here. He's got the vision first, and listen, that's you can't do it any better than that. The ability to see all 50 feet of the floor at 6'8". An NBA friend texted me at halftime and said
Cunningham right here is called for a foul as well.
Yeah. NBA friend Scout texted me and said he's not explosive, but he gets where he wants. Mike Boynton doesn't like that. But listen, West Virginia has to make shots. They're getting good looks. And Bob Huggins has told us a couple times this season we're a better shooting team than we've been in the past, but they're 4 for 16 tonight behind the arc.
Well, some foul trouble now for Oklahoma State. That foul on Cunningham, his third. The previous foul, by the way, on Caleb Boone. And you notice he's now off the floor. That's his fourth. Shot fake coming up short, though, Bryce Williams. But he ends up with the loose ball. And a fresh shot clock for Oklahoma State. Cunningham drives it. Strength through the reach in from Emmett Matthews. He's able to finish.
Looked like that was a steal. Nice.
And one at the other end, though, for Taz Sherman.
Bobby's one of the most improved players in the league. And Taz Sherman, take a look. Watch that strength right there by Cade Cunningham to the basket, 6'8", 220. But for this West Virginia team to overcome the loss of Oscar Shibwe, who's left the team, it's not just going to be McBride and Culver. It's got to be a guy like Taz Sherman, who had 19 points in the second half on Saturday in Norman. Former junior college star at Collin County in Dallas. It's important for he and McNeil especially to step up.
Well, Taz Sherman would be #1 in the Big 12 at the free throw line if he qualified. He just hasn't gotten there often enough, so he didn't have enough attempts, but he was shooting 92% at the line coming into tonight as Cunningham with the left hand able to get it to go.
Over Culver with the offhand.
Culver to the baseline, throws it down.
Good spin. I love the fact that he moved before the double came. He went opposite of the double team, created space on the baseline. That's one way to defeat a double team, is make your move before the second defender comes.
Step back from Cade Cunningham.
Oh boy. Yep. We're seeing the whole repertoire tonight, Bob. 19 points, 9 shots.
McBride rolls it off the rim. Bryce Williams from the elbow. Another rebound for Culver.
You said that a few times.
Many times. 13 times now, in fact.
Yep. Throw it in there.
He'll try a 15-footer. Knocks it down.
But give him credit. He made it, but I'd want to see him attack Cunningham. Culver's made a huge step up his junior year, Bob, and it's been as much his maturity as it is his ability to continue to improve offensively. Good D.
Bryce Williams being hounded by Kedrian Johnson.
Take a look at Derek Culver. Watch him make the move before the double comes. Here comes the double. That's how you defeat it. Get by the first man. Finish it. Youngstown in the house tonight in Stillwater. Quick move. 6'10", 255. Throwing it down.
ESPN's exclusive print. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla here on Big Monday. Is if Dabo has filled out his next coach's poll.
Number 11.
Or do you think he's got Ohio State now?
I don't think he cares. I think he's moving on to the next season. But I know
you're right.
I'll tell you this, man. I've never seen a guy react to a shot like Justin Fields did and respond the way he did. That was awesome. I don't know how good a pro quarterback he'll be, Bob, but, man, that's college football at its best. By the way, if it weren't for Justin Fields, as we mentioned earlier, we might not have had a championship game.
Yep, he was certainly at the top of the list along with Trevor Lawrence, and we gave some credit to Chuba Hubbard, another guy that had a big role to play in the fact that we had college football, as Avery Anderson is able to draw the foul. And what a week it is on ESPN. This week, the Clippers and Warriors highlight our lineup of NBA doubleheaders Wednesday and Friday, plus the Ravens-Titans wild card game on Sunday afternoon. And, of course, it caps with the national championship game on Monday night between Alabama and Ohio State. That is a look at our big lineup for the week on ESPN.
Have you noticed that Derrick Henry makes other NFL players look small? That is one massive guy. That is one massive running back.
I always like a guy that plays like a throwback, like you're not supposed to play any longer.
Yeah.
Right, like we're told NFL running backs are Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley and guys that get out and catch it. How about just Derrick Henry looking like an old school dump truck running back? And that's all he does. He is a lot of fun to watch.
Like Jim Brown. Remember
that's
that
right.
guy? It's like a Jim
Miles
Brown.
McBride. Can't connect.
Try to explain to somebody who Jim Brown is. Look him up on Google and YouTube him. But I get it. And by the way, don't you think Mike Gundy would love to see this guy out on the football field? Isaac Ice Likely. 6'4", 220.
He could play a lot of different positions. Culver in the post with a turnaround. And West Virginia hanging in there, down by 11, under 14 to go.
Very, very patient move. Bernard Kuma in the game, trying to just buy some minutes for Mike Boynton, the JUCO transfer. Got schooled on that possession.
Straightaway three for Keelan Boone won't go, but it bounces long to Avery Anderson, and a reset for the Pokes. Likely cruises in for an easy two.
Kind of looking like Derrick Henry in the open field right there, but I just love the idea that he has gotten aggressive offensively. I think this makes this Oklahoma State team really hard to guard.
Culver, too strong. And it looks like Gabe Asaboyan may have been called for a foul on the weak side.
Now, the hardest part, Bob Huggins told us today, is that Derek Culver is now going to get extra attention from defenses, and he's still gotten the job done tonight. Not a lot of output from Gabe Asaboyan, who is a Dennis Rodman type player for this team, but he's been quiet tonight.
Already with 3 fouls.
Nice pass.
A defensive breakdown again for West Virginia. They give a layup up to Bernard Kuma. So that's back-to-back uncontested layups at the rim. You can't find something, I would think, Fran, less West Virginia-like than those last 2 possessions.
And Bob Huggins will have something to say about that in that huddle.
To enhance the experiences for the student athletes, and along those same lines, the late John Thompson memorialized on the towel over the shoulder of Mike Boynton.
And Mike is a very thoughtful guy, and has certainly done his part to speak out on the social injustices of our country. And of course, the NABC involved, College Basketball Insider, and Angela Lento's group, and it's great. You know, we've got a greater awareness of what's going on in our society, and basketball coaches particularly can help make things better. There's only 9 black head coaches of the 65 Power Conference schools, Bob, and what we need to do as coaches and former coaches, and I try to do my part, is mentor these terrific young assistant coaches. Mike Boynton was hired by Mike Holder after Brad Underwood left with no head coaching experience. But when you look at his background, South Carolina, playing for Eddie Fogler and Dave Odom. He's worked for guys like Brad Underwood, Frank Martin, Mike Young. Terrific young coach, and really doing a nice job of building this program.
Likely with the left hand, comes up short, but it ends up being an assist to Keelan Boone.
Well, right now, the Cowboys, after 2 excruciating losses, are on the cusp of a second win over a top 15 program. And they look smooth doing it. Back to the zone.
Culver. Tough reverse attempt, and Likely's got the rebound. Just too far under the backboard. Keelan Boone, short. Culver trying to wall off Kuma. And it looks like it will go to West Virginia when we come back. Oklahoma State, very impressive so far tonight.
Well, that young man right there is Cannon Cunningham, former SMU Pony who played for Matt Doherty and Larry Brown, and of course the older brother of Cade Cunningham. Now the story goes that Mike Boynton started recruiting Cade Cunningham as a high school freshman when he went to see Texas Tech's Kyler Edwards. They recruited him hard. A couple of years later, he hired Cannon, and Cannon was at Tulane. It's worked out very, very well for Mike Boynton and the entire Cunningham family. And Bob, here's the interesting thing about Cade Cunningham. On June 5th, the NCAA laid out the probation for Oklahoma State. Mike Boynton had to convince Cade to stay with the decision. It reminds me of Marcus Smart when he chose to go to Oklahoma State instead of Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, all the Blue Bloods. Close to home, 4 hours from Dallas, a great league, Big 12, national exposure, also the chance to play with a relative. In this case, his brother is a coach. If you think back to Marcus Smart, he and Phil Forte were extremely close. And there you see the probation that is now under appeal.
And the appeal date, according to Mike Boynton, has not been set yet. And as of now, if this is under appeal, if it drags on, they think they may be able to play in the NCAA tournament at the end of this season, right? I don't know that, can you spring the hearing on them just on the verge of going to the tournament?
Well, listen, I don't think they can, but what I do think is that I honestly think, and I am not a fan of people who break the rules, but I do think that given certain circumstances, the coach that was here a short period of time, had nothing to do with recruiting any of these guys. And the penalty that Alabama got for a similar type of transgression, no scholarship reduction and no NCAA ban. And by the way, the show cause order on the Alabama administrator just so happens he happened to be a former NCAA employee. Interesting.
Interesting is a good way to put it, in air quotes. Likely with the rebound. They hit ahead. That layup won't go. Good contest at the rim by Kedrian Johnson. Back the other way comes Taz Sherman. He gives it up. McBride from the corner hits a three midway through the second half. It looked like this one might be getting out of hand, and then all of a sudden a couple of buckets for the Mountaineers, and they're down 13.
Bob, the Mountaineers season is going to be based on shooting the ball from the perimeter. There is no doubt this team is a new team. It's a perimeter-oriented team playing through Culver on the inside, but the perimeter shots must drop if they're going to stay in the top 15. It can't be an either-or night for them. It's got to be consistent shooting from guys like McNeil, McBride, and Sherman.
Back-to-back threes, a little 6-0 run, and a 19-point lead down to 13 for a West Virginia team that's shooting 35% from the field for the game. So they'll just need better in these last 10 minutes. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for Big 12 fans. Cade Cunningham leads these Pokes against number 6 Kansas on January 12th. The Mountaineers take on TCU January 16th. And in prime time, number 6 Kansas hosts Iowa State at Allen Fieldhouse. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. So sign up today, ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now.
Now, one of the things we talked about early in this game is without Oscar Tshiebwe, this team all of a sudden transforms itself to a 4-out perimeter-oriented team around Culver. But they've got to use the athleticism of Johnson and McBride and some of the guys that we talked about tonight. Sherman, of course, Matthews, Bridges. And Bob, it becomes an even younger team than it was before Tshiebwe left this team.
Well, they get a takeaway here as Likely stepped on the sideline, so a chance to draw even closer. Culver can't bank it home, gets his own miss, and he will go to the free throw line to see if he can cut the lead down to 11.
You love his effort. He's got to finish that because, remember, he not only loses an opportunity for a three-point play right here this close to the rim, but he hasn't shot his free throws well, so you don't want this to be a invisible turnover if you can't convert from the line, because the effort level of this young man has been through the roof tonight.
Third foul on Avery Anderson, so he goes to the bench. 18 and 15 for Derek Culver, but only 2 of 5 at the line.
Bob, you remember the night he shot the 24 free throws at Texas Tech his freshman year? When he did that, it tied a West Virginia record that was held in the 20s, and the rules back then was anybody could shoot the free throws for your team. And so he shot 24 free throws, which tied the record, and he did it by himself. Against the Final Four team, I might add.
Looks like Likely gets called for throwing the right elbow, trying to post up in the lane. So that's Likely's second foul. And now Oklahoma State's over the limit. West Virginia only has 1 foul left to give.
Oklahoma State has kind of been in like a junk defense, matching up.
Matthews. Long rebound. Oh, how about the touch pass? And Taz.
Excellent.
Sherman is able to get it to go.
Good effort on the glass and converting an offensive rebound, something that's been rare tonight because the effort level has been outstanding. Watch the hustle
Great
now.
Look from Kedrian Johnson. And there's McBride. hustling after it, drawing a foul. That'll go on Cunningham. But how about this look from Kedrian Johnson midair?
Kedrian Johnson is a junior college transfer who's starting to get more minutes. And he's just learning this system. And again, one of the things that you know about Bob Huggins and JUCO guys, it takes a little while to get the system down. We're seeing it with Sherman. We're seeing it with McNeil. But I love this kid's effort. He is a junkyard dog. When we went to watch him in practice in November, he fits the bill of those guards that we've seen in the past, JUCO guards that have played for Bob Huggins.
And Fran, the plot thickens here. This is now a single-digit lead for Oklahoma State. Cade Cunningham's got 4 as he sits down. So West Virginia has come from 19 down to make this an 8-point game, and the #1 recruit in college basketball is on the bench. Who knows for how long?
And by the way, Bob, with all this guard athleticism out there, we may see a little bit in the last 8 minutes of press Virginia.
Oh, they're hounding Avery Anderson here, and he draws the foul.
And I'm not sure I agree with that call. I thought the defender was vertical right there. Emmett Matthews feels that way. He's asking the official now.
That's Matthews'
Mike
second.
Roberts. Mike
And
Roberts,
that was the last. Last foul to give for West Virginia, so we will shoot free throws both teams the rest of the way.
Let's take a look right here. Here's the drive. Watch Matthews. And I think he got in the way. I don't think he was set, and I think that's a good call. Of course, from our vantage point, Bob, I'm not going to be too critical of these guys. They get 95% of them right anyway.
Well, you're closer to Stillwater than I am.
I got to figure out what's in my refrigerator after this game. I think I got a Jersey Mike's waiting for me.
Whatever it is, it won't last long. Kedrian Johnson draws the foul. That's on Anderson, and that's his 4th. So now Avery Anderson and Cade Cunningham with 4 apiece. And that starts to limit the rotation for Mike Boynton. I think he's going to look up at these last 8 minutes and hope that that clock just bleeds away as quickly as possible, because this is kind of death by 1,000 paper cuts right now against West Virginia, right? They have crawled back into this game down by only 8.
This kid, Kedrian Johnson, he's a Dallas kid. There you see, that's M.A. Moncrief, who is a terrific young player from Toronto for Oklahoma State. He's had some big moments this year. High energy, big guy, out tonight, upper body injury. And so they miss his live athleticism inside. But I really think that the team that's on the court for West Virginia right now going forward could give you a little of that press Virginia look. You got 4 guards out there.
Hounding the basketball.
Look at that. Just don't foul now.
All over the ball handler. And it is a takeaway.
Give it up.
Matthews goes to the bucket and thunders it down.
All of a sudden, Bob, press Virginia has reared its not ugly head, just his head.
Foul in the backcourt called on Kedrian Johnson. So free throws for Oklahoma State when we come back. But press Virginia making its presence felt.
You know they're not going to quit. Not a Bob Huggins team. Get after it. Finish on the other end. And let's get some steals. Let's get back in this game. It's Big 12 time. Virginia's Twin Towers has given way to press Virginia. 15-1 run. Couple of outside shots, getting it going. Then a steal on the other end. The highlight dunk, and all of a sudden, Bob, a 19-point second half deficit has been whittled to 5 and now 6.
You know, no Oscar Tshiebwe for West Virginia, Fran, and you would always want to have a player like Oscar Tshiebwe at your disposal, but with his absence and the fact that they have Derek Culver surrounded by the smaller, more versatile athletic lineup, I mean, that seems to be primarily responsible for this comeback. Does that make them in an odd way at times better?
Yes, I think they have to morph into this type of team, Bob, going forward, because outside of Culver, the strength of this team is the 5 or 6 perimeter players we've seen step up tonight, including this young guy, Kedrian Johnson.
Now they start hitting threes.
Yeah.
Kedrian Johnson knocks down a triple.
Listen, he's a bulldog. I went and watched them in practice in November, and Bob Huggins said, listen, JUCO kids take a little longer with me. He's figuring it out, and this is a good time to figure it out if you're the young man from Dallas South Oak Cliff High School.
A 19-point lead down to 4 with under 7 to go.
He could have traveled right there.
Off the side rim. Rondell Walker may have gotten away with one as he lost his footing, but likely missed the layup anyway, and now it is thrown out of bounds by Miles McBride. He tried to hit Matthews. So Cade Cunningham with 4 fouls back in the game with 6:47 to go.
Well, if I'm West Virginia right now, I'd continue. They got to be careful. They're in the bonus defensively, but I would scramble this game up.
Caleb Boone on the floor with 4 fouls as well. So 2 of the 3 players with 4 fouls for Mike Boynton back in the game, as that finger roll comes up short for Rondell Walker, but it will stay with the Pokes.
Well, we've talked about West Virginia's comeback. Remember, this is a young Cowboy team. Their first 3 Big 12 games have all been 1-possession games, including the overtime win on Saturday in Lubbock. But the first 2 heartbreakers. Loss at home to TCU, and the game they had won.
Cunningham.
Great post up off the inbounds.
Oklahoma State has not had wins over back-to-back top 25 teams since 2015.
Tough
and
pass,
they create the turnover here. Cunningham lost it, though. And Culver gets a gimme. And a reset for West Virginia. Johnson. Shot clock violation. Kicked it back outside to McNeil. And McNeil didn't realize.
Got to know it. Got to know it. Bob Huggins thought that the shot clock, I think he wanted to know why there wasn't a reset on that.
Yeah, I think he believes that Cade Cunningham possessed the ball on the court before he lost control. And they didn't get the benefit of a reset shot clock. That's probably a fair point. Cunningham for 3. McNeil the rebound. Culver. Jump hook is good over the top of Caleb Boone, who was a little passive there playing with 4 fouls.
And a sweet right hand, offhand jump hook by Derek Culver. Pressure's on the Cowboys now. Too easy.
Cunningham drives it, lost it, likely in the corner. And a 3 on the way. That's a little too strong for Bryce Williams. Offensive rebound and a block inside by Culver. Rejected, ice likely.
Shot clock gets reset to 20, so they've got to move quick. But the West Virginia Mountaineers have lost some opportunities on the glass. That's a walk.
Cunningham gives it up. Likely finishes uncontested.
I thought Cade Cunningham traveled on that drive to the basket. Playing zone, matching up out of it. Osaboyan will not shoot it.
A season high now for Likely. He's got 20.
Nope.
That's an air ball that Culver is able to gather and finish. What a game for Derek Culver.
And the poise, Bob. That's the thing I like about the way he's matured as a junior.
Jumping over the top to get the steal is Osaboyan. McBride with a shot fake. And he draws a foul.
I think Cade might be gone, Bob. We'll tell you when we come back.
That's on Caleb Boone. He's done. We'll see. Cade Cunningham as well. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Caleb Boone and Cade Cunningham were both in the neighborhood on this last play. They both had 4 fouls. So, Fran, someone was fouling out here.
Exactly. I thought originally Cade Cunningham committed the foul, but you see he avoids contact. Now, watch the end of this play. Caleb Boone, who, by the way, is a nice player, he's pointing at Cade Cunningham to tell the referee he fouled him. No, Caleb. We like the way you play. We love your energy. But if I'm Mike Boynton, I need Cade Cunningham on the court. And, of course, that's how the officials saw it. Good piece of officiating right there.
Yeah, if Caleb Boone is thinking bigger picture, he's not pointing at Cade Cunningham. He's raising his hand.
Exactly. And, Bob, I'm going to tell you something. This would be a comeback for the ages. 19-point deficit early second half.
West Virginia's got it all the way down to 2, and they continue to pressure. Here's Cade Cunningham working on Culver.
Culver's done a good job.
Crosses him over. Culver stays home. No room for Cade Cunningham. He gives it up to Likely, 5 to shoot. Likely gets shut down on the baseline. Has to force up a tough one. That won't go. The back tap is to Culver. A chance for West Virginia to tie or take the lead.
I'd like the ball in Deuce McBride's hands if I'm Bob Huggins, or inside to Culver. It's a matchup zone. Someone's getting an open 3.
There it is from the corner, and it goes down for Miles McBride, and he gives the Mountaineers the lead.
Not a deuce, but a 3. I'll tell you, West Virginia has found a formula without Oscar Tshiebwe going forward. I love the small lineup.
Cunningham can't answer. A chance for the Mountaineers to extend their lead.
Get the ball to Deuce or Culver. Uh-oh.
McBride feeling it from NBA range.
I'll tell you, he is a winner with a capital W.
West Virginia down 19. Completely flips the script here in the second half. They've got a 4-point lead with 2:23 to go.
At the beginning of the night, Bob, we talked about Derek Culver. He had to be a man inside. Watch this defense right here. This is textbook against a guy who's allegedly, and he will be, a high draft pick. And then the challenge on the drive. Take a look. No good. And how about this guy? No surprise to anybody in Greater Cincinnati, because this kid is the ultimate winner. 88-4 in high school. And that's why. Big moments.
3 triples in a row for Miles McBride.
Bob,
He's got 17.
Yeah, a 23-point turnaround in the second half.
And Miles McBride, 15 of his 17 in the second half. So he's been the offensive spark plug. But you're right, Fran. It's been the combination of him picking it up and making big shots, and this West Virginia team collectively as a whole just turning up the gas defensively and changing this game.
Well, listen, Bob, in the second half against Oklahoma, they found something in the way of playing smaller, quicker. And you know what I love about Bob Huggins? The reason he's a Hall of Fame coach is he's won, like Bill Self's done this many times, he's won with different styles. He can beat you over the head with the big guys, but more often than not, he's had a team of scrappy junkyard dogs like Press Virginia, and we may be seeing a formula that works for the rest of the season.
A 19-point deficit at 1 point for the Mountaineers, but they have turned up the heat defensively, and we're coming up on 2.5 minutes without a point for Oklahoma State. How did they respond now? Here's the freshman going to work. Cunningham muscles one up and gets it to go.
Very crafty. Avoided the charge, spin move.
No breathing room given to McBride by Avery Anderson. Leaning in, coming up short.
Oh, nice.
After it again, though, and putting it up, Taz Sherman.
Yep. Likely did a great job of avoiding contact, no foul, but he took himself out of the play, and Taz Sherman right on the money.
Sherman's got 20. Another bucket for Cade Cunningham. He's got 25.
That's a bad play by Osaboyan. You're not going to gamble and steal it on a guy that gets to the rim that easily. Make him shoot over the top.
A whistle and a foul called. Nope, check that. Timeout, I think, was called by Bob Huggins with 14 to shoot.
Take a look right here. You see how Osaboyan gets himself out of position. And, man, the one thing you want to do in that situation is don't give Cade Cunningham a lane to the basket. It's too easy.
16 in the second half for the freshman. He's got 25. Likely's got 20. Culver and Sherman over 20 apiece as well for West Virginia. I'm not sure we expected the game to be played in the 80s, Fran. I'm not surprised that West Virginia's playing a close game against Oklahoma State, but this is a game that is played, you would think, kind of an Oklahoma State style up into the 80s scoring-wise, and yet West Virginia's got the lead.
Well, and I think, as we mentioned, that this whole philosophy of how West Virginia is going to play changed on Friday when Shibwe left the team. Now, if you get it to Culver, remember, he's a poor foul shooter. I like McBride to make a play here, maybe Sherman on the down screen.
Well, he's got it with 5 to shoot. McBride hunting his shot, fades away. Got it!
How about that? Money, money, money. Winner.
Two possession lead with under a minute to go. Cunningham a step back 3. In and out. Offensive rebound, Likely.
How about that? He got it over Culver as well. That is a big play. If Culver gets that rebound, it's up 4 with the ball. Instead, the point guard gets the offensive rebound. No surprise if you've been watching Oklahoma State for a couple years. This is why we call him a linebacker playing point guard. Take a look. Good look by Cunningham. Watch Likely crash, and he goes over Culver, who was surprised, comes up with a big basket.
Well, Likely averages about 8 rebounds a game, Fran. So there's no guard in college basketball, at least in the Power 5, that averages more than 8 rebounds per game other than Ice Likely. Where are you going now at the other end if you're West Virginia to try and make sure you stabilize this game and keep the lead? And I guess from an Oklahoma State standpoint, what are you worried about the most?
Right. Well, first of all, if you're West Virginia, you've got to milk the clock, okay? You don't have to shoot it right away. If you're Mike Boynton, you have to decide whether you want to play the possession out or foul. Now, here's a little nugget. If Culver gets the ball, you foul him immediately. If you're Mike Boynton, you have to foul him. But if you're West Virginia, I keep the ball in Deuce McBride's hands as much as I can. I also have confidence in, he stepped out of bounds.
Yep, tough spot to catch it. And Kedrian Johnson stepped on the sideline.
Bob Huggins wants a foul called here. Take a look. Watch Kedrian Johnson. He's going to lose his balance, pivot. And I don't see a foul there until after he steps out of bounds.
Now Oklahoma State is out of timeouts. West Virginia has 1 left. They've got the arrow. Only 42 seconds to go.
Osaboyan, a power forward at 6'8", is going to match up with Cunningham, also 6'8".
Cunningham drives it, leans in. Osaboyan blocked it, but a foul will be called.
Did they got a charge? They do.
West Virginia's reacting as if Cade Cunningham just fouled out.
Osaboyan forced to drive. Let's take a peek at who stepped in. And this is reviewable. This play, block charge, restricted arc play, is reviewable. Let's take a look. Johnson is set. He's outside the arc from what I can tell. And this should be an easy call for John Higgins. Take a look. Set before he leaves his feet. Outside the arc. Easy call. And Kedrian Johnson, who just made up for the turnover, they're going to look at it. Mike Roberts and Higgins. Quick. Yep. Good monitor job, guys. It's a late night. So West Virginia
Cade Cunningham fouls out with 31 seconds to go. West Virginia's got the basketball, and Oklahoma State loses their leading scorer.
Bob, this game is a long way from over, but we have to keep reminding people that West Virginia, without a great high school All-American player who left the team, was down 19 points in early second half. This will be a comeback for the ages. We'll be getting free pepperoni rolls for months and months when we go to Morgantown.
Which I know is your priority.
Got to get it in cleanly. Oklahoma State still has a chance to force a turnover, and they have a timeout.
That's the last timeout for West Virginia. They are trying to pull off what would be their biggest comeback in a decade. Now you're out of timeouts.
Yes.
Now you're out of timeouts, and if you're Oklahoma State, are you deny, or are you trying maybe to dictate that the ball goes to Culver?
No, I don't think that Bob Huggins will put Culver anywhere near the basketball. What West Virginia has to do right now is, I think they've got too many guys too close to the baseline. Remember, because of the violation or the charge, the inbounder cannot run the baseline. I would get the ball into Sherman's hands, or I would get the ball into McBride's hands, and I would keep Derek Culver as far down the court as I can.
Well, you may not want him at the free throw line, but they have wanted him on the glass and everywhere else on the floor, because our Capital One rewarding performance, it points to the night that Derek Culver has had. 22 points, 19 rebounds. Without Oscar Tshiebwe, Fran, he has basically put up exactly the kind of franchise night that you need your big man to put up when you're down there kind of fighting the good fight by yourself.
Well, and keep in mind, without Tshiebwe, he's had more room to operate inside tonight, and we've seen the emergence of those perimeter guys. I'm not even sure I'd want Culver on the court right now, but the first key is to get the ball in cleanly. Got to remember that they have the possession arrow, so don't throw it away. Take a jump ball. You see how they've moved those blue jerseys away from the baseline to give them a running start to the ball. I like this. Post them up.
Timeouts. McBride catches it in a tough spot and is able to unload. And now the foul is given, so that will put Kedrian Johnson at the free throw line.
This will be, to my recollection, only his third free throw of the season. The former junior college star from Temple, Texas.
And he comes up short. He's now 0 for 2 on the year.
Ooh.
It's a three-point game with 27 seconds to go.
Don't need a three right now. Attack the basket and don't commit a foul.
Kedrian Johnson just did.
Yeah, do not commit a foul 50 feet from the basket. And that's just inexperience.
So it's still a 1-and-1 for Oklahoma State.
That is I'm just going to tell you, that is a horrendous play at midcourt by the young man, Kedrian Johnson, who's done so many good things tonight.
Long rebound, Sean McNeil. And now you have to foul with 22 seconds to go.
And that's a guy you do not mind being on the line, Sean McNeil.
91% so far this season.
I'm going to venture to say it's too early, Bob. I'll say something in 20 seconds or so. There's a miss. 91%. Wow. How about that?
That's the announcer jinx. Kind of a double-edged announcer jinx between you and me. I think we both talked about how Sean McNeil has been automatic. That's the big one, though. That makes it a 4-point game with 22 seconds to go, and that changes things.
Well, I don't like the full court denial here because it opens up the court for the quick 2. And see now, ice likely, and gives up the open 3.
And it's knocked down from the corner by Rondell Walker. It's a 1-point game. Likely trying to tie up McBride and a foul called. Well, just for a moment, I think the Cowboy fans certainly and Oklahoma State as a team thought they may have had a held ball.
Bob, I don't like this. Bob Huggins is going to the Hall of Fame. Look at all the room in the open court. I know they press, and I think that's the opportunity there to back off your defense and not give up an open shot like that.
Now, if McBride makes this a 3-point game, is Bob Huggins going to be telling his team at some point here to foul?
Too early to foul. Too early, because if you foul, there's still more possessions in the game. I would play this out and switch everything.
Even if it gets down to 6 or 7 seconds. Let's see.
Then I foul under 6.
Oh, there's the 3 on the way. It rolls off for Walker. The putback is knocked away by Culver, and that'll do it. What a comeback for West Virginia.
A win for the ages. And by the way, his 300th win at West Virginia.
A 19-point second-half comeback for West Virginia.
Take a look now. They get a look that's not a great look right here, but you have to know you're down 3. And what do we always hear from announcers? The best time to get an open 3 off an offensive rebound, especially when you're down 3 in the final seconds.
That could turn into a season-defining win for West Virginia. This is one of those games without Oscar Tshiebwe that they may look back on as being pivotal. A 19-point comeback, and West Virginia wins it 87-84. Coming up next, it's NFL Live for Fran Fraschilla and our entire crew. I'm Bob Wischusen. Hope you enjoyed Big Monday. Thanks for joining us in Stillwater.